happy Halloween. I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we're going to do a spooky review. We're going to review Sinister Halloween VR. It also has non-VR support. It originally released in November 2018. It came out of early access October 31st, 2019. It's currently on a Steam Halloween sale, 40% off. I actually bought it last Halloween for 50% off. It's available for all the major headsets, and I can confirm it works perfectly fine on the Oculus Quest 2 using the Oculus Link cable. The best way I can describe Sinister Halloween VR is that it is a B-movie horror type experience brought to VR. It's campy, it's not very good, the voiceovers are terrible, the animations are kind of stiff, the visuals aren't the best you've ever seen in VR. The VR interactions are very basic, and the game overall is just a little bit buggy. But honestly, I had campy fun playing this game. There's just something special about a haunted house experience, and you have some jump scares. You got some nice little Halloween stories. I mean, they're not fleshed out or anything. They're very simple. You basically enter a haunted house, or you go out in the woods at night and you get separated. All kinds of crazy stuff happens, and basically the interactions are go look for objects. So you're looking for a key, or you're looking for some item to progress the story, and there's some very simple combat sections where you're either using a gun, a shotgun, or even the torch on all kinds of monsters, from werewolves to ghosts to just anything you can almost think of. A guy with a chainsaw following you around, chasing you around, and you're running for your life. That is this game in a nutshell. Including the free DLC, this game took me approximately a little less than 2 hours to complete. And like I said, even with all the bugs, I still had fun. There was one game-breaking bug during one of the DLCs, the one where you walk up in the woods at night. I was locked in a small church, and there was no way for me to exit that small church. It was bugged somehow. I'm not sure exactly how, but it's a small area. I looked all around. There was just nothing I can do to get out, so I consider that a game-breaking bug. I might be wrong on that, but I really don't think so. I think it's a serious bug. This game is running on the Unreal Engine. On my RTX 3080, I was getting a steady 72 frames per second because I'm using the Oculus Quest 2, using the Oculus Link cable. I do recall that when I was using a 1060 GTX, I was getting about 45 frames per second, so it's not the best optimized game. You may have noticed some stutters in this video. Those are the loading screens. So this game does have various loading screens spread throughout, and they do come as a surprise sometimes, but it was running pretty steady. I didn't notice any issues while I was playing the game other than the loading screens. You do have full locomotion and smooth and snap turning. I did notice a bug. If you changed to smooth turning, you couldn't change out of it, so you were stuck with it until you exited the game and came back. Then you can go back to snap turning. You do also have controller based movement or camera oriented, so that's great for this game. I did find that I had to play standing for this game, just because some items were difficult to reach otherwise. You could theoretically play this seated, although you will be a little bit too low to the ground. So I do recommend this game, but it's definitely not for everyone. This game is kind of like a mix of a walking simulator, haunted house, and a roller coaster. So it's mostly cinematic, so you're just walking from point A and to point B, and scary stuff happens along the way. Meantime, you have like very basic interactions. You're looking for a key or whatnot, and then you have the combat sections where you're shooting or using a torch. Those sections are pretty bad. The combat here is pretty awful. Whether it's shooting the gun, doesn't have realistic physics. The shooting is pretty bad. Doesn't compare to like a real shooter. Or just using the torch. You just basically touch the werewolves and they die with the torch. So it's not very good. But the scares or whatnot, the haunted house experience does work, especially if you're okay with a janky game. If you're not into that, then definitely I would pass on this because it is very janky. I experienced several bugs. Some of the bugs included that my left hand would close up and I couldn't use trigger or grab, and that stopped me from being able to use the shotgun or even being able to open some of the doors because your left hand is totally closed. That issue did fix itself sometime later, usually when it reloads a chapter or after a loading screen, but in the meantime I just couldn't use the left hand at all. There were some other bugs, like I mentioned during one of the DLC. I was totally trapped and I couldn't get out. During the paid DLC Asylum, I experienced another bug where the same thing basically happened, where I couldn't open any of the doors and I was basically locked in a level because I couldn't open any of the doors. I believe at least one of them should have been able to be unlocked, but it just wasn't, which is very unfortunate because the Asylum paid DLC is probably the best part of this game. I was really enjoying that up until I experienced the bug. But like I mentioned before, the animations are a little stiff and the voiceovers just aren't very good. Several of the sounds are just repeated over and over. Some of them can be annoying. And just the VR interactions are very poor, from opening doors, from using keys, to picking up items. They all could just be more smoothed and polished. So if I have to rate Sinister Halloween VR, I would give it a 6.66 out of 10. Yeah, I had to go there. I enjoyed it, but I'm also glad that I bought it on sale. However, with 2 hours of content and different haunted houses experience within it, I think it's actually worth the $10 if you want to support the developers. But definitely I wish it was more smoothed and polished. Definitely get rid of all the bugs so I could give a more hearty recommendation. So definitely, if you're into horror movies, this might be your jam as well. I'm Fast Lawyer. If you like my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day. Goodbye.